Back in October, we started the road to the championship with 11 candidates, but now just 2 are left standing. Today on Sunday Basketball, we bring you all of the highlights from Game 2 of the semi-finals. From Melbourne and the showdown between the Titans and the Tigers, and in Adelaide, where the 36ers and the Hawks lock horns in a thriller. And Chris Anstey speaks about life in the NBA with the Dallas Mavericks. Stay with us for all the action. Hello and welcome to Sunday Basketball. Great to have you with us this morning for the second last time this season. The on-court action certainly is heating up as we get set to crown the 21st champion of the National League. The Grand Final Series starts this Friday night, Victoria against Adelaide. The 36ers coming from behind last night to beat Wollongong in overtime. This morning we bring you the highlights from Game 2 of the respective semi-final series. Adelaide coach Phil Smythe will join us on the phone to chat about last night's thriller. Chris Anstey will speak to Andrew Johnston about life in the NBA with Dallas, plus the final product of our Players Special, a music video showcasing some talents you just will not believe. That is all ahead this morning. Let's meet the team. Firstly, someone who has yet to star in a music video, leading basketball writer Andrew Johnston. AJ, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Clinton.
Victoria versus Adelaide, as good as a replay of what happened last season when it was Adelaide against the Magic in the Grand Final Series. It's going to be great.
It's the dream matchup, isn't it? It's the one people have been looking at for most of the season. Once Andrew Gaze left, most people thought, yes, it will be the Titans and Adelaide. Can't wait for it to get started Friday night.
Indeed. Joining us on the panel this morning is one man whose season we have been watching closely, but from a distance this year. He has lit up the Greek League and is commanding plenty of interest from European clubs for his services from near east of Athens. We welcome Shane Hill. Shane, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you. Thank you.
Welcome back. Is it good to be back?
Yeah, you always miss home. That's one thing when you go overseas. You learn that Australia is the greatest place to live.
Life as a professional basketballer in the Greek League must have been something really different. Culture shock to you?
Yeah, big culture shock, and it took a little bit of time to get used to the basketball and also the lifestyle and the language barrier, but I enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to going back next year.
We'll talk more about that later this hour. And helping us provide you with the complete coverage of the postseason is our playoff analyst and NBL Hall of Famer Bill Palmer. Bill, welcome to you.
Morning, Clinton.
Adelaide are there, but only just.
Yeah, it was an amazing game last night. In the end, you really wondered whether Wollongong knew how to win the game because they had it in their keeping, and then Adelaide got a sniff and hit a miraculous shot, and it was a terrific game.
And remarkably now, 4 sweeps through the course of the playoffs, or in fact 5 now.
Yes, the financial controller at the NBL won't be very happy about that. I'm sure he budgeted at least to have a few series go to 3 games. Well, you know, you look at the 2 people in the finals and you say, well, you certainly could see that one going 3 games.
Yes, we certainly hope so. Well, plenty to get through this morning, and we start with what proved to be a nightmare for the judging panel. The top 10 slam dunks of the NBL season. There were some beauties this season. Here are the top 10. And our slam dunk countdown starts with West Sydney pair John Rillie to Simon Dwight.
Showtime! Rillie tells the crowd to pump it up. And don't they love it?
Simon Dwight getting upstairs there. Here it is again. Wow. They've got this one. At number 9, it's Bullet Ben Knight.
And the block from Leroy Loggins on the double team. Continuing on with the play, Shanahan dishes off and Ben Knight stuffs it in the hole. He celebrates as well, and it was started at the defensive end by the 500-gamer Leroy Loggins.
Wow, on the end of a very clever pass from Matty Shanahan. Good no call at half court there because there wasn't a whole lot of contact. Exploring on the dribble, Matty Shanahan finding Ben Knight.
At 8 comes this powerful follow-up slam from Jason Smith.
Jason Smith with the follow. That gets the fans out of their seats.
Here it is again. You'll find that next week in the top 10. Yowza! At number 7, it's Newcastle's Ben Melmoth.
Cut out by Rod Johnson. Feldman to Reedy. Good hands to Melmoth for the stuff. You won't see much better than that, and Ben Melmoth is pretty happy about it as well.
Oh, that's just an excellent fast break, guys. Getting it through the hands here. Rod Johnson draws the good defense by Jamie Perlman, making it go that extra pass, but that's what happens when you have a big man that can run the lane and finish.
Coming in at 6 is King's star Matthew Nielsen.
Out, and he might finish this with a dunk, although Pillen will try and stop him. Good contest, but Nielsen slams 2 more.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Sorry, Case. Just had to let you know that this was coming. Buyout. Oh, man. That was... Oh, here we go. Another angle. Good. Hope we have about 10 cameras on this one. Yes.
At number 5, it's Wollongong's Matthew Campbell.
This season, here's Campbell with ACL to beat. Good luck. He stops it on him. Oh, Matt Campbell gets upstairs and says, I can take it. He's come down very heavily. Despite the presence of the former NBA star ACL, Matt Campbell runs straight at him and stuffs it in the hole. Worth another look. It's Matthew Campbell. Hard to the rack. He came down very heavily. Appears to be okay for the moment.
Adelaide's dazzling Darnell Mee is at 4.
Pretty good in the end. Mee. Darnell Mee, like a hot dog street runner, popped it back and threw it around with authority. Got the crowd going, and it's something Adelaide needed.
Another Hawk soars at 3. This time Clayton Ritter.
Ritter provided it and came up empty. Weems, the outlet pass is cut out. Good work from Clayton Ritter. Now Saville gives it back to him. Baseline, what a finish! Oh, Clayton Ritter take a bow! Starts it at the defensive end. They give the ball back to the big man, and have a look at that.
At number 2 comes King's big man, AC Earl.
Earl, a real focal point of offense for Sydney. Oh, AC Earl! Put that in the highlight reels. Looked like he was going to softly lay that in and popped it back and made Adelaide pay there on the boards.
And the number 1 slam of the season is this awesome move from Melbourne's Marcus Timmins.
Past Nielsen. Oh, well done! Arguably the best we've seen this year as he goes past Nielsen. Upstairs, Craig McAndrew thought he was in a contest. He needed a hard hat or some protection because Timmins, there was just no stopping him.
Yeah, you know, I was watching the top 10. I was like, look, I need to get in there sometime, so I hope I got one in there.
He got one in there, didn't he? Any disagreements from the panel?
No problem with that, and I know that Marcus certainly enjoyed that particular dunk. I remember speaking to him after that game. He loved it.
Wasn't that Shane? You've done plenty of those in your career. Wasn't that sensational?
Yeah, well, as the dunking expert, you know, I definitely enjoyed that one.
Now, Bill, you were disagreeing with you. Thought Ben Melmoth was a bit high there at number 7. Aside from that, do you think the panel got it right?
Yeah, I think they were pretty good. I would have shuffled the deck a little bit from 9 through down to 1, but number 1 was pretty number 1 with me too.
Okay, terrific. Well, while the focus of the basketball press has obviously been on the semi-finals this week, there has been some other movements in the basketball world as we bring you up to date with the headlines on what has been happening. And the Brisbane Bullets are getting closer to finalising a deal with a new owner. One of the discussion points this week, the fact that one potential owner wants the club to play at their present home, the Convention Centre, and not Boondall, post 2001, which had been agreed to. Andrew Rice is a name many of you would never have heard of, but you will be hearing plenty about him in the future. The talented 18-year-old stands 205 centimetres. He's out of the AIS, was raised in WA and has been courted by a number of NBL clubs, but has signed with the Canberra Cannons. So the AIS youngster deciding to stay in Canberra, also re-signing with the Cannons, Damien Ryan, the Rookie of the Year this year, signing for the next 2 seasons. Lauren Jackson, another big move for the nation's capital. She's decided to stay in Canberra and join the Canberra Capitals in the WNBL, while Carrie Graff will be the new coach of the Capitals, replacing Mike McHugh next season. So big news in the ACT in the world of basketball. This week also saw further announcements about NBL award winners this season, the best defensive player and the All-Star 5, and polling 57 of a possible 90 votes to dethrone Mike Kelly as the league's best defensive player was Darnell Mee of the Adelaide 36ers. He was runner-up in this award last season, was again outstanding in his 3rd season in the NBL, outpolling Mike Kelly, Matty Campbell, Sam McKinnon and Terry Johnson. And Darnell Mee's teammate Kevin Brooks was the lone Adelaide player named in the NBL's All-Star 5 first team, which was announced this week, a team which featured 3 Melbourne Tigers. Brisbane's Steve Woodbury polled most votes to be there again, just ahead of Mark Bradkey, who won his 4th All-Star 5 honour. Andrew Gaze qualified, having played 17 games for the Tigers this season. It is his 14th straight appearance in the All-Star 5, while Leonard Copeland joins Brooks as first-time All-Star 5 nominees. The All-NBL second team featured CJ Bruton, Darnell Mee, Rob Rose, Marcus Timmins and Paul Rogers. AJ, any disagreement with the All-Star 5?
No, I wouldn't think so. I think those 3 Tigers certainly deserve to look. Leonard Copeland, first time he's ever been on the All-NBL first team. Great result for him, and Kevin Brooks and Steve Woodbury. Who could argue with those two?
Okay, indeed. So Leonard Copeland's just rewards there after 8 seasons in the NBL. Well, the NBL semi-finals got underway on Friday night. The Melbourne Tigers up against the Victoria Titans. It was game 2 of the semi-final series at Melbourne Park. The Titans won game number 1. So the Tigers were trying to keep their season alive in the NBL. AJ, just as we pick up the highlights, what were your thoughts going into this one?
I thought the Titans would get it, Clinton. I like the fact they had superior weapons to Melbourne. They've got plenty of guys who can step up and make a contribution. Melbourne, of course, it's no surprise and no shock to anyone. They've relied on the big 3 since Andrew Gaze was gone. And the way this game started out, it appeared that Pepper and Wheeler certainly were going to run Bradkey around as much as possible, and they did exactly that.
Shane, you were at this one. It had a little bit of everything, didn't it? It was a good old-fashioned stoush.
Yeah, it certainly did. You know, the Titans got away by about 15 in the third quarter. Then they went through an offensive slump, and it was good to see the Tigers get back. You know, Bradkey had a good game. Copeland was his normal self. Marcus Timmins was slow in the first half, but fired up in the second, and obviously they were a good chance.
Yeah, the Bear did a good job, Bill, as we mentioned yesterday in our 5 o'clock wrap, of shadowing Timmins for that first half, keeping him to 4 first-half points.
I think that was certainly a key. In fact, I think he kept Timmins pretty much under control the whole game. Timmins only got 14, got 30-odd in game 1. I think the other key factor in this occurred in the latter stages, where the Titans were going through this incredible scoring drought. Ben Pepper just simply got every defensive rebound going, and so they kept enough possession of the ball to be able to keep their lead. It was tied. It certainly was a close thing there in that last quarter. Got tied up a couple of times, and you always speculate, what if Melbourne had that go-ahead? They might have had it. Mark Bradkey tipped one in for the Titans.
When their offense
when
was
the
terrible.
scores were tied, I think it's about 76-all, so it just looked like the gods were smiling on the Titans.
And there was a big notable newsworthy play in the second quarter. We'll get to that shortly. Here's the call from Friday night. Joining me in commentary is David Graham. Big 3 coming up from Jason Smith.
Ball out in front of D-Mac. He recovers. Kicks it out. Smith for 3. Lindsay Gaze doesn't like it. The Tigers were the only team this season in the league to average 100 points. Timmins, that was tough, doesn't get it. Bradkey kept it alive. Timmins, Copeland misses for 3. Dremick takes them on, can't get it to go. Gets it back, kick out, Ronaldson wide open. 3-point try doesn't go. Kelly! D-Mac has Ronaldson going. He might go all the way. He does, count it. And the foul on Timmins. Daryl McDonald, rarely do you see him take it at the basket like that against someone, especially when he had the chance to hand it off. This Titans team are together tonight, aren't they? Giddy feeds Timmins. This looks better, closer to the basket, but the D-Mac strips him, and he goes the distance.
There's a dunk. Well done, Daryl McDonald.
Here's Pepper against Bradkey. Almost drew number 4 in terms of fouls on Bradkey. Just not quite. Smith and Gordon clash off camera. Gordon at the other end can't finish it. There's a foul on the play. Oh, and Ray Gordon's come up pumped, and we've got a foul. Oh, and hello, it is heating up. Ray Gordon came into this game saying that he didn't mind if he gets suspended.
Stick with it, Ray. Ray Gordon, again, I say, he's got enough ability to influence the game other than that sort of tactic.
He's firing with his own teammates now. Timmins to Gordon. In fairness to Ray, there was contact with Jason Smith before that play started. Gordon is subbed out of the game, I fancy, by Lindsay Gaze.
Now we shoot 2 at this end for Maley for the foul shot. Okay, then we go to the other end and we've got 4 shots plus possession.
We're having plenty of meetings and discussion. The score at the moment is 51-36. Let's listen in.
2 unsportsmanlike fouls. 2 unsportsmanlike? Yes, yeah. The first one was unsportsmanlike, the second one was disqualifying. The results are 2 and possessions. Well, that's it.
Now here's the final possession. It's remarkable. Here's the D-Mac all the way. You called it too easy. That's half-time.
And so at half-time, Victoria leading 53-41 with Ray Gordon's ejection, adding plenty of spice to an already heated contest. It was a disappointing way for him to end a 16-season career, but symbolised his career, that white line fever sort of thing.
Yeah, well, we knew Ray Gordon was always going to be fired up for his last game. He talked about it in the press heading into that particular game as well. But you could see by the reaction of Mark Bradkey and Leonard Copeland trying to restrain him that they knew how important it was for Ray to stay in that basketball game. Once you look down that Melbourne bench, there's no Ray Gordon. It's tough to get any scoring whatsoever.
What do you think at half-time, Shane? Melbourne haven't played all that well. They're only down 12, though. Did you still give them a chance at that point?
Oh, I certainly did. You know, the Tigers offensively can explode at any stage of the game, and knowing the other extent that the Titans can go through those droughts, they're always going to be in with a chance. But at the same time, the Titans do play fantastic defence. Tony Ronaldson was great. You know, but it just turned out to be a fantastic game, which was good for basketball.
What did you make of the matchup in the middle, Bill? I thought certainly the way Wheeler and Pepper started out, that was their focus, wasn't it, to run Bradkey around. Bradkey really hit back, struck back hard in the third quarter, and then into the fourth. I thought it was a classic matchup between those three guys.
Well, he ran with them, and I suppose they were a little bit handicapped because Wheeler picked up 3 early fouls, so they probably didn't quite have their rotations. They would have liked it. But at the end of the game, you know, Pepper hit a couple of those nice little baby hooks inside. You can't take anything away from Bradkey, but again, I think that the difference was they didn't have another player stepping up, particularly with Timmins being held.
I think heading into the game, you'd look at those three guys and say they need to get 75 to 80 between them. I think they come up with about 60 to 65, and in the end, just wasn't enough, was it?
I think that's right, and it really was a contrasting game because the second half was entirely different from the first half. The first half was really a body-checking defensive, even though the Titans got up by 51 points. It was a tough, physical, sloggy sort of game, and it opened up in the second half, and Melbourne really came into it a lot better. But in the end, I think they did run out of gas. Kelly's big three that probably wrapped up the game, he was wide open. Nobody was within. Still got to be good enough, of course, to knock it down, but they started to stand around a little bit at the end of the game.
So the Tigers cut it back here to 5 points at the last change, and then they came back to tie the ball game. Let's pick it up from the fourth quarter.
They need to get the ball perhaps into Wheeler down low or Ronaldson down low as opposed to Ronaldson out wide.
Ronaldson leans in, can't get it. Brett Wheeler.
Well, there were some mental errors defensively down the other end to let Wheeler come over the top and get that tip. Timmins muscles his way in. He's got Giddy underneath.
Oh, yeah, great vision, Marcus. Warwick Giddy.
Could be a very determining factor that in the next couple of minutes. Bradkey should dunk this.
And a chance to tie the game. Bradkey inside. He's got 19. And McDonald gets another 30 seconds for Victoria. Drimmick doesn't want him. He can't hit, though. Oh, and Bradkey's tipped it in. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, I was going to say that shot from Drimmick probably did enough for it to drop. He was unlucky it didn't. And perhaps
justice prevailed.
The God smiled on him there. Bradkey from off the dribble.
Oh, that was what he intended. They'll slow it down.
D-Mac's open. He's screaming for the ball. Can't get it down low. Willing the guys to give it to him. In fact, didn't say anything then. He was hoping that by just the presence would be enough.
Couldn't see the white shirt in the crowd. Kelly open for 3. Big hoop. Very big hoop. He leads the Titans scoring with 16. Tigers must score on this play. Drimmick to steal. Now a 4-on-3 break. Drimmick down the middle. Ronaldson, Kelly, he's feeling it. Yes! It could be the first nail in the Tigers season. They've got 3 minutes to turn around an 8-point deficit. Mike Kelly has got 19. Timmins for 3. Yes! Oh, boy.
Timmins, very good.
2 minutes left, perhaps, for the season for Melbourne. Copeland to try and ensure that it isn't. Leonard has 29. Tigers to get desperate here. You see the time remaining. Copeland off the screen. Fires for 3, can't hit. Ronaldson's got it. He's fouled by Timmins. Victoria are only a moment away. Mark Bradkey Steps inside, tries to draw contact, pulls it in. 19 seconds to go. Drimmick not going to try and let them. He'll run it out if he can. Giddy knocked it away. And the clock winds down on the season for the Tigers, the career for Ray Gordon. In a titanic struggle, Victoria prevailed 94-87.
And so the Titans through to the grand final. They sweep the Tigers 2-0, 94-87 the final. All 8 players who took the court for the Titans scored between 8 and 19 points. Mike Kelly led the way with 19, including those late threes. He made 5 of 8 three-pointers. The rest of the team made just 1 of 16 from beyond the three-point arc combined. Ben Pepper was excellent, 15 points, 13 rebounds. Darryl McDonald, 13, 11 and 6 assists. Frank Drimmick and Brett Wheeler both had 11, while Leonard Copeland again led the way for the Tigers with 29. Mark Bradkey, 24 and 9 rebounds. Marcus Timmons had 14 points. Those 3 all played 48 minutes as the Titans won the boards 45-32. After the game, AJ asked Darryl McDonald about the Titans season leading up to this grand final appearance.
It took us some time to gel. I went down, but I thought the guys stayed. They stayed together and played well. I think I thought with me coming back, I came back at the right time, and it helped us. And we just got to get through. We still got business to take care of. A lot of people questioned us, said we couldn't do it. We're in the final.
We didn't make any major adjustments. But we did a few things just to help out a little more on Timmons coming off of curl cuts and supposedly Copeland too, but didn't affect him much. So we made very minor adjustments, and the refs called it a little bit different, which was tough for us in the first half, but it seemed to flow a little more for us in the second.
Mike Kelly there talking about the Titans' great win. The 2 coaches now, Brian Goorjian and Lindsay Gaze, head-to-head over 40 meetings are squared at 2020. Bill, a word on the Titans season. The merger pre-season between the Giants and the Magic, everything in the end has worked out just fine for them.
Well, you can't complain when you get into grand final. I suppose it probably took a bit longer than a lot of people would have thought. I think that the blending the 2 different philosophies together, Goorjian has had to change his philosophy a little bit particularly to accommodate DMAC into the side, and that probably took a little bit longer. And they hit a bad patch, of course, when DMAC was down as well. They were just getting used to each other. DMAC goes down, he comes back, and they've gone from strength to strength. I think their biggest problem against Adelaide will be making a consistent effort at the offensive end. They've looked very good until this game. They looked very tough offensively, but they went through that 12-minute drought there where they only scored 6 points. That's a danger.
It certainly is. That wraps up that series between Victoria and Melbourne. Still a lot more to get through for you on Sunday Basketball this morning. Coming up, AJ chats with Chris Anstey in a Dallas limo. We'll also see our NBL players in their finest acting performances. All ahead on your Complete Hoops Guide, Sunday Basketball.
Hi, I'm Chris Anstey with the Dallas Mavericks, and you're watching Sunday Basketball on ABC.
Time now for us to update you on the latest from the NBA in the shortened 50-game season. Here are all the ladder details as they stand this morning, and we start in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, where Orlando lead the way 28-10, clear out on Miami at 22-11. Philadelphia and New York also above 500. 4 of the 7 teams there playing above 500 from the Atlantic. Over in the Central, Indiana starting the season in good fashion at 24-12, ahead of Detroit, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Toronto and Cleveland playing 500. The Bulls in the cellar at 10-25. Western Conference, Midwest Division, Utah leading the way at 26-8. San Antonio at 24-10. Houston travelling along nicely as well at 23-12. And Minnesota still in the playoff race. Vancouver are in the cellar. While in the Pacific Division, the NBA's best record belongs to the Portland Trail Blazers at 27-7. The Lakers also travelling nicely, although the Pacific Division there not as strong as it has been in recent times. I think many as 5 clubs in the Pacific used to be above 500, AJ, now just 2 at the minute.
Yeah, that's right. Just looking at the Phoenix Suns there, Luke's team, 17-19, and, well, right there in the playoff hunt right now, but they need to really get something going.
Here's what the Aussies have been up to with our Aussie Watch. Luke Longley averaging 8.8 points and 5.8 rebounds a game, playing 25 minutes for the Suns. Chris Anstey, 3 points and 2 rebounds a game, playing 10 minutes for Dallas, while Andrew Gaze is averaging 1.1 points, 0.3 rebounds, playing just on 3 minutes a game for the San Antonio Spurs, but unfortunately he was placed on the injured list on April 8 due to what the Spurs have said was a sprained left ankle. His disappointment would obviously have been heightened as he followed the Tigers' loss on the internet on Friday night. AJ, just a word on the situation for Andrew Gaze.
I'm just wondering if Shane ever had a sprained left ankle when you were in the NBA there. Did you ever go to the injured list?
No, I was lucky enough not to get injured while I was there, for the season and a half. So, no, it must be pretty frustrating for him at the moment, and I know what he's going through, but, he's a tough guy and he's hanging in there, obviously.
Well, plenty was expected of Chris Anstey this season for the Dallas Mavericks, especially after a good pre-season with the Mavs. Andrew Johnston was in Dallas recently and started by asking Chris how the year so far has gone for the big man.
The season's, it's been a little bit up and down, maybe a bit below expectation, but we've won a lot of games at home. We've won more than we've lost at home, which is a positive start, and we've been in a lot of games that we've lost, so it's been a bit disappointing in that regard. But we're getting better and we can see the improvement, and hopefully we can turn it around before the end of the season, and once again, if not, then we're going to continue to get better, next season and into the future.
Sure. And what about from a personal standpoint? You happy with the way things are going?
I've been a little disappointed. I was hoping to get a few more minutes and play a bit more of a consistent role, but that didn't happen, and I'm trying to perfect the role that I've been given, which is come in and play 3 or 4 minutes here and there, maybe once or twice a game, and really be able to come in and be effective straight away. So that's something I'm trying to get good at and something I'm getting better at, but hopefully it won't be like that for a long period of time, and I'll get a more consistent role. But it all takes work and it takes time, and I'm putting in the time, so we'll see if the results come.
What about the feedback from the coaching staff? Are they happy with the way it's coming?
Yeah, they've actually been happy. They've said a lot of it had to do with the rotation, that they were happy with the smaller lineup at times, and I missed out on the rotation. They were happy with my pre-season, or so they say, and actually I was pretty happy with it as well. So, like I said, that's one of the reasons I was a bit disappointed, but I mean, you never know when you're going to get an opportunity over here. So I'm ready to go every game, and there've been a couple of games I've played over 20 minutes, and there've been somewhere I haven't played. So you just never know what's going to happen.
Tell us a little bit about Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers. They were in town 2 nights back. What's it like matching up against Shaq?
He's a big boy. He's actually, it was kind of fun because I had a bit of an out clause in my role. It was anytime you got anywhere near the basket in scoring position, I had to foul him. So if I fouled him and sent him to the line, I'd done my job. So even that's a bit of fun, just going up and fouling him and sending him to the free throw line. It's have a bit of a fight and then foul, and it's fun, and it nearly worked. He missed a few and we only lost by 3. So we nearly got there, but just fell short.
How does the big fella react to such tactics? He knows what's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, he does. He was a bit. It was getting to him a little bit. He was, starting to comment on to the coaches and to the referees and all that type of thing. And if you see him doing that and you can put him off his game, then you've done your job. And if you have to find a weakness in his game, it's his free throw shooting. So the only way you can get to that weakness is to put him on the free throw line, and that's what we tried to do.
See Kobe Bryant also come in with the Lakers. He had a big night a couple of nights back, 33 points in the second half. A lot of hype about Kobe. Is he the real deal?
Yeah, he is. He's just so talented. He's obviously one of the most talented players in the league, and he's going to be fantastic. I think he's only 20 years old, so he's got a huge career ahead of him, and he's so much fun to watch already, and he's just going to develop into one of the best players in the world.
A lot of excitement about the Lakers too. Did you see that? Are they one of the teams to beat for it all this year?
Yeah, they're definitely one of the teams to beat. No, to be honest, I think the Western Conference this year is a lot stronger than the Eastern Conference. Not only are there the Lakers who are going to be one of the best teams, there's Utah and there's Portland who actually have the best record in the league right now. So maybe the 3 best teams in the league are all in the Western Conference right now. So we get a lot of tough games, and that probably doesn't help our record either. But once again, we're playing against the best, and that's how we improve.
What about the Mavericks? A bit of excitement around town about the way you're playing or the potential of the team?
There's a little bit. I think there's a bit more this year than last year because we're a legitimate chance every time we get into a game to win it. And, our record's probably not quite as good as we wanted. And, some people find that disappointing and they're sort of, we're back to where we were last year. But, we're a better team than we were last year, and we are improving, and we're a young team. So
you're still enjoying the experience?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a day-to-day thing. You never know what you're going to get from one day to the next. It's exciting, and there's nothing that compares to it so far. I mean, there's ups, there's downs. You get everything. It's undescribable.
Undescribable. Chris Anstey with Andrew Johnston. Seatbelts not required there. Nice of Chris to take you out in his car.
Not a bad little vehicle, is it? Yeah, he's very happy with that one.
Yeah, no, he sounded like he's enjoying things.
Yeah, he's enjoying the experience. Would love to be playing a whole lot more, but they're still sorting out rotations. The season's almost over, but they're still trying to work out what that team is going to be, what sort of character and personality it has.
And Shane, you can understand what he's going through in terms of perhaps not many minutes one night, but then plenty the next.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing trying to get some consistency, and Chris had a good opportunity last year and played very well, and I'm sure he'll get a whole lot more time towards the end of the season. But he's a young guy, and obviously you have a lot more fun when you're young and single and haven't got the commitments at home with a family. So I think he'll have a good career there.
All right, we certainly hope so. Well, last week on Sunday Basketball, we brought you some of the funnier moments from our ABC Game of the Week promos this season. Here is part 2 of that special, a look at how our NBL stars can act in front of the cameras.
Next up we have Martin Cappuccini, the biggest nose in the league. Next up we have Reuben Sapwell, he's the hairiest guy in the league. Woo! Don't hate me because I'm hairy. Next is David Stiffy.
You got a problem?
Next up we have Paul Rees.
There's humour in that.
Next is Mr. Happy, Darnell Me.
Hello.
Next we have our junior supporter, Paul Bauer.
Hey, how are you?
Soon Curl for 3, and he makes it from the baseline. A fantastic move from Simon Curl with a pink kick.
Yellow is good for slamming, pink is good for trays. Green is good for fast breaks.
Rainbow is good for foul shooting.
How you doing? I'm Simon Curl. No, I'm Simon Curl. No, I'm Simon Curl. No, I'm Simon Curl.
G'day, mate. G'day, mate.
Kesley? G'day, mate.
Yeah, you need a lot of work, mate.
Fair dinkum.
Fair income.
It's practically Australian already. Kels? Fair dinkum. Can you speak English? Fair dinkum.
Have a Mickey Merv at that Sheila.
Have a Mickey Merv at that Sheila.
That's not too bad.
Mafia hit, these are the boys, the Panisi boys from Sicily. Okay? What have you got for the fans in Australia, Jimmy?
Nothing much.
You're going to get a couple of words.
How you doing, son?
Oh, that's enough.
Right, boys, next week we've got Adelaide. It's going to be a big game. Pat, you've got Catalini. Watch out for his big nose. Dino, you've got Rupert Sapwell. I don't want to see any grooming going on. It's not the jungle, with all that hair. Toddy, you're going to have big Paul Ruiz. I know he looks like a draft horse, but don't worry about that. He does move a little bit quicker. TJ, you've got Darnell Mead. Don't worry about him. Doesn't say a word. Butchie, you've got Brett Maher. Now, mate, I'm supplying some Grecian 2000 to bring along just in case he's looking a bit great. So, fellas, we need to have a good game. Let's get into it.
Well done, Sean Dennis and the Falcons. Not bad, is it?
They had a lot of fun throughout the season, didn't they?
Oh dear, our team very good behind the scenes. Don't go away, we've still got a lot more to get through for you this morning, including some of the more luckier baskets from this NBL season. We certainly saw plenty of those. Paul Rogers happy with one. And the players' end-of-year song, you have been waiting for this one. The final version today, and all the highlights from back on court from Adelaide last night as the 36ers played the Hawks. That's ahead on Sunday Basketball.
It's that pivotal moment. It's impossible. This kiss, unstoppable. This kiss.
It changed my life entirely, completely.
Of getting happy after Perth made the playoffs. Well, we've seen the talents of our... I'm still laughing at that. That's unbelievable.
Get over it, will you?
Oh, dear. I've got the giggles. That was very funny. Oh, dear. Let's have a look at our...
Making a Christmas tape here at the moment.
Here's the lucky plays. Have a look at this. Is that what we're going to? We are.
Grace, beautiful recovery. Oh! Paul Rogers knocks it in for 2. Unbelievable.
I'd like to see that again.
Can you believe this one?
Dillon against Smith, penetrating. against McGregor, and Nelson and tumbles. Well, we've seen it all now. He draws a foul in the process.
Yes, sir. We get another look at this. Look, he's going in to dunk this. Then he has all kind of traffic upstairs. Turns around completely and gets a nice soft roll. Highlight of the year.
Bradkey comes up with the ball. Timmins to his left, Copeland to his right, and Bradkey scores a three. He's claiming it. It was a pass, but Mark Bradkey's going to claim it. Marcus Timmins can't believe it. He sat down on the job. Oh, extraordinary. Here is Timmins. This was the play, and they get it right. Showtime from Melbourne Park as the streaking Melbourne Tigers head for their 7th consecutive win.
Robert Rose shaking, drive to the basket, and it is good! The referee Mike Butler says the basket counts. Robert Rose crossover move, left hand layup, he draws the foul. What a shot!
There, possibly Nelson. Here goes Aaron. Oh, Aaron just fires it up. Oh, he makes it home! Aaron Trahair with one of the biggest Hail Marys you'll see this season.
He actually got hit by his own player.
Wow, let me see that again. Rosen setting the pick, got pushed away, hit Trahair. He just casually turns around and says, yeah, I meant that.
Dalton. Now that's some sort of shot from Mark Dalton. Put that on the highlight reel if you don't mind. Mark Dalton, to the applause of the fans and his teammates, saw himself cornered without much room for the shot and thought, heck, I'll give it a go. And he came up with the goods. Scales to the hoop, off the window, couldn't get it to go, has his own rebound, has 5 to beat, off the glass, falling to the floor, Javon Scales comes up with the points.
You know, that shot looked pretty lucky, but he has got some handy low post moves. He can get upstairs in a hurry with a lot of strength and balance.
Drimmick inside Knight, past Woodbury, party trick off the glass, falling down. Frank Drimmick added another 2. Game high 22 for Frank Drimmick. He is getting close to his season high.
So some lucky hoops there. I've got it back together. No thanks to you.
Beautifully done in the end.
I think
Beautifully done.
Don will be hosting this show next week. Well, during the playoffs, we've been bringing you little snippets of an end-of-season special put together by Sunday Basketball in association with the NBL Awards dinner, which is being held in a couple of weeks. And this special involves our NBL players as you have never seen them before, singing, dancing and acting their way to stardom. These guys really should be stepping forward for a Logie tonight. Here it is. The big end-of-season special.
I'm trying to be romantic.
Oh! Summer loving had me a blast.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me. I met a boy cute as can be. Summer days drifting away to other summer nights. Tell me more, tell me more. Tell me more, tell me more. Like there's the avatar. She got a cramp. Here and by me, got my sit down. Saved the life, she nearly drowned. He showed up, splashing around. Summer sun, something's begun. Bright other summer nights. Tell me more, tell me more. Wasn't love at first sight.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Did he put up a fight? We went strolling, drank lemonade. We made out under the dark. Boys down, till 10 o'clock. Summer flame don't mean a thing, but all the summer nights. Tell me more, tell me more. Tell me more, tell me more.
Like the Razorbacks are such a drag.
Shoo-ba-ba, shoo-ba-ba,
She give me a friend.
Yeah, good try, Z.
Come on, fellas. Where you going?
It turned cold, that's where it ends.
So I told her we'd still be friends.
Then we made our true love vow.
Wonder what he's doing now.
Summer dreams
Nearly
ripped at seams, but those summer
It's hard to be serious, isn't it?
Extremely. Any of that in the Greek League this year, Shane?
Not quite, but I'm glad I was away because I got no rhythm, but a couple of those fellas are about equivalent to me.
Oh, that was terrific though, wasn't it?
It was outstanding. I hope Catalini's got some of those moves left for next weekend.
Oh dear, well done to Richard Van Reed from the ABC for putting that together. Hope you enjoyed that. Time now for us to try and get serious, to turn our attention back to things on court and the NBL semi-finals. Last night, Adelaide hosted Wollongong in Game 2 at the Powerhouse, and the Hawks, who have only ever won once in Adelaide, went about as close as you can to winning without actually doing so last night, going down by 1 point in overtime. Joining us now to talk about the match is 36ers coach Phil Smythe on the phone from Adelaide this morning. Phil, good morning to you. Congratulations. I guess it was a case of mission accomplished last night, albeit very narrowly.
Yes, it was. It was a pretty tight game, Quinton, and as you said, in overtime we were lucky to get away with it.
Obviously, you were expecting the Hawks to rebound last night. Were you expecting CJ Bruton to fire 33 shots?
No, well, I guess yes and no. I didn't know he'd fired 33, but we always felt that because he'd had a quiet game last Friday and probably a pretty quiet playoff series for the way that he's performed, that he was going to come out and get pretty fired up for it.
Can you take us through the way the game unfolded, Phil, for those who might not have seen the game last night?
It's hard to remember, Andrew. Yeah, look, we got off to a reasonable start. We thought that they'd come out as they do and have done a good job of all season, getting that early lead. We sort of weathered that pretty well, and then, full credit to Wollongong. They took us out of our rhythm. They opened up a 16-point lead in the second quarter. It was 10 at half-time, and then they got it out again to 16, I think. In the third quarter we made a couple of changes defensively, and for whatever reason we picked up our intensity and then got some motion back in our offense, and towards the end of the game, they'd made some terrific shots to keep the lead, and then we thought that might dry up for them, which it did. We had a shot at the end of the game which Rupert Satwell made a three-pointer to send it to overtime, but it was probably David Stiff's offensive rebound to give us that second chance to do that. He was, I thought, the outstanding player for the night for us. So, in the overtime, once again, we got out by 7 and we looked pretty comfortable, and Wollongong came right back at us and, went right down to the wire.
You mentioned David Stiff had 22.7 rebounds last night. That is exactly the sort of contribution you were looking for when you brought him in at the start of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, when we recruited Dave, one of the things we looked at was his performance with North Melbourne when they were in the playoffs, and we felt that he was one of their best players at that time. So, we were pretty happy when we got him. We thought we were fortunate to get him, and then, as the season's unfolded, he's just continually got better for us. So, hopefully he can continue that form in the next 2 or 3 games.
Bill Palmer here. How are you?
Very good, Bill.
Phil, I was very interested that it seemed to me at about the 8-minute mark to go in the game, Wollongong had a good lead, 7 or 8 points. It seemed to me that all of a sudden they decided they were going to protect that lead. Did you get that sense too? Because they started all of a sudden to walk the ball up. C.J. Bruton held the ball at the top of the key, and it was like they said, well, we've got enough.
Yeah, I think you're right. They had lost that momentum. They'd done a good job of pushing the ball down the floor and then being patient with their offense, and then they suddenly they changed the tempo, whether that was, you know, a bit of lack of experience on some of the younger fellas on the floor, or as you do in stages of the game, you need to change that tempo. They might have felt that 8 points was going to be enough, but 7 or 8 minutes out, I guess it's probably unrealistic that you could hold on to a lead like that.
The other thing is they certainly picked up a lot of fouls against you, Phil. Do you think that probably, because of the nature of the contact, did a bit to reduce your shooting percentage, particularly from three-point range?
Yeah, I thought they did an excellent job of that, and you know, we could probably expect similar, I think, from the Titans. They're a little similar in the way they played defensively. So, you know, they certainly threw us out of our rhythm for a large portion of the game. I think it was largely due to the fact that, you know, we weren't screening as well as we have during the season. So, you know, we get a chance to work on that this week.
The mind games have already started over here, Phil. Gorgon has claimed the underdog tag. You happy with that?
Well, I suppose, you know, it's easy to claim being the underdog. We finished top, so it'd be hard to dispute that. But realistically, they're more talented than they were last year. They've got more national players than us. So I guess if they're the underdogs with that, we'd have to live with it.
What about the expectations over there now, Phil? Obviously, the community have been waiting for this all season. You're back there to defend that title. Must be a very nice feeling this morning.
It's pretty satisfying. We touched on it briefly after the game. You know, it was hard enough just to get a chance to go back-to-back and win a championship. Certainly early in the season, we didn't look like we were going to get back into the grand final. Then the last probably 2 months, we started to get on a bit of a roll. And obviously when Andrew left and went to San Antonio, that was always going to open up the door for us. So, you know, we were probably fortunate in a couple of areas. And then the last 2 or 3 games of the season when Bradkey got injured, you know, Melbourne dropped a couple of games, which gave us that opportunity to finish top. So, you know, from that point of view, it was nice to finish there, but ultimately it doesn't mean anything, and that's decided in the next 2 or 3 games.
Well, Phil, well done on getting back to the grand final series. Looking forward to seeing you at Melbourne Park this Friday night. Thanks for your time this morning.
Looking forward to it. Could you let Hammer know we probably could use some outside shooting if he's not doing anything for the next couple of weeks? We could look at fitting him in.
Yeah, well, the way I've been shooting the ball the last couple of weeks, Phil, I could have fit into your team last night with the percentages shot. Not real good, man.
Based on that, mate, maybe we couldn't use you.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Phil. See you Friday.
Good on you.
Phil Smythe on the line from Adelaide this morning. It was a thrilling last quarter. Let's pick it up. You see the Hawks leading by 8 as we start the last quarter.
As the game high scorer, David Stiff in traffic. Looked pretty good as well off the window. Campbell, C.J. Bruton, catch and shoot for 3, yes! David Stiff gets it down low against Mark Dalton, who did a good job, can't worry him out of the points, however. Just under 6 minutes to play, down by 7 as Brooks fires up for 3. 4-point ball game. Need to get it away, the shot clock's going to expire on them, they flirted with danger. And Wollongong just starting to stall in offense. 5 minutes to play, Kevin Brooks draws a foul on Clayton Ritter. And that is his 5th in the match. In fact, he is out of here. At 0-3 in the playoffs is the story for Wollongong, but they have given this an almighty shake. 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's going to expire on them again. Brett Maher spinning on Campbell. Pulls up for the jumper. It looks good. It is good. Campbell puts the ball on the floor, goes to Theron Wilson, who is fouled by David Stiff. He gets the 2 and draws a foul. Glenn Saville going to have to pull the trigger, and quickly, with 1 second to go, he fires, can't finish it off. Theron Wilson reaching in from behind is going to be out of the game as well. 8 seconds on the shot clock and counting. He falls up for the jumper, couldn't get it to go. Mark Dalton, a very important offensive rebound, keeps it alive, it's loose. Saville's athleticism wins possession. Maher inbounds the ball, here's Sapple. He's connected on 3 already tonight. Not with that he won't, though. He'll get another opportunity. This time, it's no nylon. Oh, can you believe that from Rupert Sapwell? He ties the ball game away. Here's Bruton on the buzzer. He almost came up with the goods, but we are going to extra time. Adelaide have not led since the second quarter. And we have an extra 5 to play here as David Stiff goes to the rack. He certainly has stood up tall in this match. And Adelaide lead by 2, 4 minutes to play in the first period of overtime. There are the foul situation at the moment as David Stiff comes up with another 2. Brett Maher, guarded by Campbell. Shot clock now down to 9 seconds. Adelaide by 4, less than 3 minutes to play. First period of overtime, needs to get busy. Got Saville in the air and drains it. Dalton gets to the rack, comes up with the goods. Now against Glenn Saville, penetrates, dishes outside. Kevin Brooks wants the 3, steps outside the line, buries it. Oh, Adelaide are humming now. Adelaide have possession. Brett Maher gets the ball. They do not want to foul him. Guarded by Campbell, he goes to Brooks. It's cut out by Mark Dalton, who will go in for the jam. Daniel Mee harassed. Brooks confronted by Dickinson over the halfway line to Brett Maher. Dickinson will foul him now. That may not have been a wise decision.
Oh, so much time left. Did not need to foul.
Adelaide lead by 4, 63 seconds to play in overtime. Bruton takes them all on. Stiff blocked the shot. The pass intended for Sapwell was cut out by Dalton, who goes back to the rack and helps himself to another 2. Back to a 2-point ball game.
Don't need to foul. Oh, what is going on? What is going on?
Brendan Joyce is very disappointed with some of the decision-making being made on the floor here by his team. Third personal on Matt Campbell. 3 points the difference as Bruton comes forward. Penetrating, takes them all on, can't finish it off. What a tip-in! Eric Cooks. The Belaying is 38 years of age, gets upstairs and puts a lid on 2. Adelaide restart, 15 seconds on the shot clock. Darnell Mee with the ball, guarded by CJ Bruton. Works in the direction of Brett Maher, guarded by Dickinson. Darnell Mee down to the baseline, 4 seconds on the shot clock. He was blocked initially. Now Wollongong have come up with possession, and they have the last play here. They trail by a point. CJ Bruton has won 3 matches this year right on the buzzer. What's he going to provide us with on this occasion? Couldn't get an effective shot away. Here's Campbell on the buzzer. It's waved away, and Adelaide have prevailed here by a single point.
Well, there you have it. Adelaide by 1 in overtime. They sweep the Hawks 2-0 to advance to play the Titans. David Stiff, as AJ mentioned earlier, terrific. 22 points, rebounds and block shots as well. Brett Maher, 19. Kevin Brooks, 5 of 19 from the field for 16 points. Rupert Sapwell, 11. Mark Davis, 10. Darnell Mee had a dozen rebounds to be the leading rebounder in the game. CJ Bruton scored 27 for the Hawks, handed out 7 assists. Matt Campbell had 20 points. The rest of the scoring pretty even for the Hawks, although they were outscored from the free throw line 35-8. And just one word to finish off on this game, Bill, before we preview the grand final series. The Hawks had their chances.
They had their chances. There's a lot of inexperience. As I said, as the game was winding down in regulation, I thought they went too negative. They tried to husband their lead too early. And then in the overtime period, they were clawing back when they were down. And I think about 3 times in a row, they deliberately fouled when there was enough time to let them come down and steal the ball. So I think they might have let the 36ers off the hook.
Okay, so let's recap the weekend scores for you in case you're just joining us on what's been a madcap hour. 2 matches played this weekend. The Titans over the Tigers by 7 in their semi-final game 2 on Friday night, and last night in overtime, Adelaide over the Hawks by 1. It means the grand final schedule looks like this. It starts Friday night at Melbourne Park. The Adelaide 36ers, the defending champions, against the Victoria Titans, continues at the Powerhouse the following Wednesday and the following Friday night. This season, Adelaide leading 2-0 in their head-to-head matches. Bill, your prediction on the way the series will go?
I really look for this series to go to 3 games. I think my big worry for the Titans is their scoring droughts. I think they have to be able to score against Adelaide. If they can be aggressive offensively, I think they can take it out in 3.
Shane, you've seen both teams this weekend, obviously not a lot during the season. What did you make of what you saw this weekend?
Well, both teams are obviously very talented. I think Adelaide have got the advantage just because they can score. But if Victoria do a good defensive job on the big 3 with me, Maher and also Kevin Brooks, then they're going to have a chance. I think Adelaide will win in 3 as well.
Yeah, Adelaide really have been one of those teams that have played a free-flowing brand of basketball all season. It's got the makings of a classic championship series, but I still believe that if Adelaide is allowed to get out in Game 1 and dictate the tempo of that basketball game, similar to what they did last season in Game 1 of the championship series against the Magic, the Titans could be in for a very, very long night at the office.
You can follow all the action and keep up to date with our times on the website here at ABC Basketball, www.abc.net.au/basketball. In the fan forum, the question of the week coming from John Corey this week. He asks, when is the NBL going to get serious about teams cheating the salary cap and decide to publish player salaries? AJ, just on a couple of seconds, your thoughts?
Yeah, certainly. Look, this one has been an interesting, it's been an interesting dilemma for years and years. How does the NBL police the cap? The answer is it is extremely difficult. At the same time, I wouldn't mind at all seeing players' salaries being published. I think, overseas it is done. Just speaking to Shane off air earlier on, it's also known in Greece. Whether it's actually done by the league or not, that's another issue, but I think that would certainly help. And Shane, we mentioned at the top of the show, you mentioned that you've got a couple of offers to look at from overseas. You will be going back to Europe?
It looks like it at this stage. I enjoyed my time there, and I've been very fortunate to be able to play overseas for a couple of years now. And you learn a lot. I think it'll help me at the Olympics as well. And at this stage, I'll probably be going back.
And the team went to the playoffs when it wasn't really expected.
No, we weren't expected to do too well at all, and it was a second division, and we ended up finishing equal sixth. So to be able to do that was very exciting. Everybody was extremely happy. So. My memories there have been very good, that's for sure.
Well, it's been great for you joining us this morning. We've been following your progress overseas. Best of luck with it and wherever you may decide to end up next season.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Shane Hill joining us this morning. Before a final word from Bill Palmer, let's have a look what we've got for you next week by way of TV times for the grand final in South Australia and Victoria. Game 1 Friday night from 9:30, 10:25 elsewhere. You can see the replay from 5 on Saturday, and of course Sunday basketball for the wrap next week. Bill, thanks for your company. In one word, Adelaide or Titans?
I think Titans will win Game 1.
Bill Palmer sitting on the fence. AJ?